From the streets of Memphis to the darkest corners of social media, a storm is brewing around one name, Big 30. And tonight, we're pulling you straight into the center of a saga so wild, so chaotic, and so twisted that fans are questioning everything they thought they knew about him. Because for the first time ever, insiders are speaking out, whispering about a side of Big 30 the public was never supposed to see. A side fueled by betrayal, jealousy, secret alliances, and a ruthless hunger for power that left the city buzzing and the industry shook. It all started with one explosive argument behind closed doors. An argument so intense that people nearby swear they heard shouting, threats, and something that sounded like a chair crashing against the wall. Emotions ran high, voices cracked, and within minutes, rumors spread like wildfire. The streets were buzzing, fans were shocked, and even Big 30's closest friends were left divided, wondering if he'd finally crossed the line. But what happened next? That's where the real story begins. Because this wasn't just a meltdown. It was the moment Memphis realized Big 30 wasn't just another rapper. He might just be the demon they created. Memphis had always been known for its raw energy, its unfiltered stories, and the voices that rose from struggle. But even in a city filled with legends and street icons, the whispers about Big 30 were starting to sound different, darker, almost like people weren't talking about a rapper anymore, but a force nobody could fully understand. The streets called him dangerous. The blogs called him unpredictable. And those who knew him personally, well, they didn't even know what to call him anymore. It all began one late night in South Memphis, inside a small house that belonged to one of Big 30's childhood friends, Rico. They had gathered for what was supposed to be a calm, private meeting, just old friends catching up. Nothing more. But Memphis energy doesn't stay calm for long, especially when secrets start leaking through cracks nobody noticed before. Rico, who had always been the mellow type, kept pacing around the living room, chewing on his lips like he was trying to decide whether to speak or stay silent. But Big 30 noticed it immediately. He always noticed everything, almost like he had a radar for betrayal. "Rico, why you walking like somebody chasing you?" Big 30 finally asked, leaning back on the couch with his eyes narrowed. His tone was calm, but the room felt like it dropped 10 degrees. Everyone knew that when Big 30 talked quiet, trouble was only seconds away. Rico swallowed hard. "It's nothing, man. It's just, people have been talking." Big 30 leaned forward. "Talking about what? Say it." Rico hesitated again, and this time the silence was so heavy everyone felt it pressing on their lungs. The other guys, Sty, Malik, and Debo, sat frozen, pretending to scroll through their phones but clearly waiting to see if Rico would crack. Finally, Rico let out a shaky breath. "Folks saying you changed. Like, ever since the fame hit different. They saying you don't move the same, don't trust the same. And some people think you got something big planned. Something that might hurt the wrong people." The moment those words left his mouth, the whole room fell silent. Big 30 stared at Rico with a blank expression, but his jaw clenched so tight that the muscles twitched. He didn't say anything. He didn't have to. The entire room felt the tension stretch like a wire about to snap. "Who said it?" Big 30 finally asked. Voice low. Rico shook his head fast. "It ain't like that, bro. I ain't trying to snitch. I'm just telling you what's being said." Big 30 stood up slowly. "Rico, if you're gonna speak on something, speak all the way. Don't half tell me nothing. I can't fix what I don't know." Ty cleared his throat, trying to calm things down. "Man, let it go. Everybody talking these days. It's social media. It's bloggers. It's clout chasers. Nothing serious." But Big 30 didn't move his eyes off Rico. He knew when a man was scared for no reason. And when a man was scared because he'd seen something. "Rico," he said again, stepping closer, "why you really scared?" Rico's hands started shaking. It's your cousin, man." At that moment, everyone reacted at once. Malik muttered, "Damn." Under his breath, Debo looked away completely, and even Ty's eyes widened. Big 30 didn't flinch. "Which cousin?" Rico whispered. "Marcus." And just like that, the name hung in the air like poison. Marcus wasn't just any cousin. He was the one person Big 30 used to trust blindly. The one who was there before the fame, before the studios, before the tours. They were practically brothers. But Marcus had disappeared from the picture months earlier, right after rumors started spreading that he had been running his mouth, telling people he deserved more credit for Big 30's come up. Fans online even speculated that Marcus had beef with him, but nothing was confirmed until now. Big 30 closed his eyes for a second, as if trying to control a reaction bubbling under the surface. "What did Marcus say?" he asked quietly. Rico almost whispered. "He told people he ain't scared of you. He said if you keep moving the way you moving, he gone. Send someone to check you before the industry does." Big 30 let out a slow, cold laugh that didn't match the fear in the room. It wasn't a laugh of amusement. It was the kind of laugh people make when they stop caring about consequences. Ty stood up fast. "Ayo, chill, bro. You know Marcus. Just be talking. He emotional. He jealous. But you can't let him get in your head." Big 30 turned toward the window, staring at the street like he was expecting someone to appear. "He ain't in my head," he said. "He in my way?" Everyone felt the drop in tone. Everyone felt the threat. Malik spoke up carefully. 30? What you thinking right now?" Big 30 didn't answer immediately. He kept looking outside, breathing slow but heavy, like he was remembering every moment Marcus ever betrayed him, every argument they never resolved, every time he felt stabbed in the back without proof. "I'm thinking," he finally said, "that I should have handled this a long time ago." Rico stepped forward nervously. "Bro, don't do nothing crazy. Marcus still family." Big 30 turned around with a look that made Rico instantly regret speaking. "Family," he repeated. "Family don't move like he moved. Family don't try to ruin what you're building. Family don't plot behind your back." Rico lowered his eyes. Ty put a hand on Big 30's shoulder, trying to ground him. "Listen, don't let the streets turn you cold. You already made it out the worst parts. You got money now, fans, shows, everything. Don't throw it away over Marcus." But Big 30 stepped out of his reach. Double quotes Ty. "You don't get it?" he said quietly. "This ain't about fame. This ain't about money. This is about respect. And if I let Marcus disrespect me in front of the whole city, then I ain't who they think I am. And that," he added, "I can't let happen." Debo finally spoke. "So what you gonna do?" Big 30 looked at all of them, then at the door. Then he walked toward it slowly, as if the decision had already been made hours ago. "I'm going to find Marcus," he said, "and I'm going to make him talk." Rico's eyes widened. 30 wait, but it was too late. The door swung open and the cool Memphis night air rushed in as Big 30 stepped outside, his shadow stretching across the porch like something dark had finally been unleashed. The guys looked at each other, worried, shaken, and unsure whether to follow him or pray he came back calm. Because everyone knew, once Big 30 set his mind on something, nothing and nobody could pull him back. And as he walked off into the night, a storm was beginning, one that would drag the whole city into chaos, and this was only the beginning. The Memphis night was quiet, too quiet, almost like the city itself was holding its breath as Big 30 walked down the street with a determination that made even the shadows seem nervous. Nothing about his pace was rushed, but everything about it screamed finality, like he already knew what he was walking into, and he wasn't scared of what he might find on the other side behind him. Ty, Malik, and Debo stood at the doorway for a long moment, unsure whether to chase after him or let him go. But the tension was too heavy to ignore. "We can't just let him go out there alone," Ty finally said, rubbing his face with both hands. Malik shook his head. "Man, if he wants to be alone, let him. You know how 30 gets when he made up his mind." But Debo wasn't convinced. "Yeah, but if Marcus really been talking crazy, this might not end clean. We need to follow him. Not to interfere, just to be there." Rico hesitated, still shaken from earlier, but he nodded too. Let's go. We can't let this turn into something the blogs start covering tomorrow. They quickly left the house and got into Malik's car, trying to catch up to Big 30 without drawing attention. But Big 30 wasn't heading anywhere random. He was heading toward the old neighborhood on the east side. It's a place full of memories, fights, wins, losses, and ghosts. The drive felt longer than usual. The streets were dim, the streetlights flickering like they couldn't decide whether to shine or hide. Malik kept glancing in the mirrors. I don't like this, he muttered. Whole night, feel wrong. Ty leaned back in his seat with a heavy sigh. It's Marcus. Man, that dude been holding a grudge ever since 30 got on. He always felt like he deserved to be the one blowing up first. Rico looked out the window, his voice low. But a grudge don't justify setting people up. That's family. Debo scoffed. Not everybody got the same idea of family. Some people only loyal to their jealousy. As they turned down a narrow street filled with old houses and cracked sidewalks, they finally spotted Big 30 up ahead. Walking toward an abandoned basketball court he and Marcus used to hang at as kids, Ty whispered. Damn, he really going back to memory lane. Big 30 pushed open the rusty gate with one hard shove, stepping onto the court that held too many stories. The faded lines, the broken hoop. The graffiti on the walls, everything, felt frozen in time, and that's when he saw him. Marcus stood near the far end of the court, leaning against the bent basketball pole with his arms crossed. He must have known Big 30 was coming because he didn't look surprised at all. If anything, he looked ready that Big 30 didn't blink. So you out here running your mouth about me? Marcus smirked. Ain't nobody scared to speak the truth? Big 30 stepped closer, his footsteps echoing across the quiet court. You talking about sending people to check me? You think I ain't hear that? Marcus laughed, but it wasn't loud, it was cold. I said what I said. You forgot who taught you half the moves you're using today? When you blew up, you left everybody behind. Like you built this on your own. Big 30's voice dropped. I left nobody. Everybody left themselves. Marcus pushed off the pole and walked toward him, head tilted like he was sizing 30 up. Nah, you acting brand new. Acting like the big boss of Memphis. Like everybody gotta bow down to you now. Big 30 stared him down. I ain't never asked nobody to bow. You didn't have to, Marcus replied. Your attitude said it for you. The tension wrapped around them like fire. The air felt heated, tight, ready to explode. Big 30 finally spoke again. I came here to talk, face to face. No social media. No rumors. No third parties. You got something to say to me? Say it. Marcus stepped closer, almost nose to nose. Yeah, I got something to say. You changed. You became everything you said you'd never be. And I ain't gonna sit around and watch you turn into some fake legend while you forget who helped you get here. Big 30 clenched his jaw. Marcus, you sound like a hater. Marcus's face twisted. Maybe I am. Maybe I ain't. But at least I ain't pretending. That hit something. Something raw. Something deep. Big 30's voice cracked not with fear, but with disappointment. You really think I forgot you? After everything we've been through? After all the nights we dreamed about making it out? You think I don't remember? Marcus didn't soften. Remembering don't matter if your actions say otherwise. Behind the fence, Ty, Malik, Debo, and Rico finally arrived. They stayed back, hidden, listening to every word. Big 30 took a slow breath. Looking at Marcus so deeply, it was like he was searching for the cousin he once loved. So what now? You want to fight me? You want to ruin me? What's your plan? Marcus chuckled. I ain't gotta do nothing. You ruining yourself. A long silence followed. Even the wind seemed scared to move. Big 30 finally said, if you got something against me, we fix it. If you jealous, say it. If you hurt, say it. But don't you ever try to put my name in danger. Don't you ever try to get me checked by someone outside this family. Marcus's expression shifted, but only for a second, just enough for Big 30 to see the insecurity beneath the anger. You really think I'd hurt you? Marcus asked quietly. Big 30 didn't back down. I think you already did. Marcus looked away, jaw trembling, suddenly fighting emotions he didn't want to show. You changed first. Marcus whispered. Big 30 took a step closer. Maybe I did. Maybe the world changed me. But you ain't supposed to be throwing stones at me. You supposed to be standing with me? Marcus wiped his face quickly, pretending he wasn't tearing up. You left me behind. I was trying to bring you with me, Big 30 said, voice softer now. You pushed yourself away. The two cousins stood there in the dim light, breathing hard, surrounded by their history. The court felt like a stage, and the entire city felt like it was watching. Ty whispered to the others, they need to talk alone. Don't go in. But just when it felt like the tension was finally calming, a phone buzzed in Marcus's pocket. He glanced at it. His face dropped. Big 30 noticed immediately. Who that? Marcus hesitated. Too long. Way too long, and a sinking feeling settled in Big 30's stomach. Marcus, he said slowly. Who? Texted you. Marcus locked the screen, stuffing the phone into his pocket. Nobody. Don't worry about it. But Big 30 stepped forward and grabbed his wrist. Not aggressively, just firmly. Who texted you? Marcus pulled back. I said, don't worry about it. Big 30's eyes darkened again, all the progress instantly unraveling. You lying? Marcus's body stiffened, and in the shadows behind the fence, Ty whispered, oh no, here we go again. Big 30 looked at Marcus like he was seeing him for the first time. You working with somebody? He asked slowly. Marcus didn't answer. Didn't deny. D and single quotes T blinked. And that silence was louder than any confession. Big 30 took a step back, shaking his head in disbelief. Marcus, tell me you ain't crossed that line. Tell me you ain't bring someone else into our business. Marcus didn't move, didn't breathe. And that was the moment everything changed. Big 30 whispered, they coming, ain't they? Marcus closed his eyes, and the sound of distant footsteps began echoing through the alley. The footsteps grew louder, slow at first, then heavier, like more than one person was approaching through the alley behind the court. Big 30 didn't turn around. He didn't need to. Something inside him already knew this moment wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't an accident. It was planned, and the realization hit him like cold water. He stared at Marcus, who still hadn't opened his eyes, as if he couldn't bear to look at what he'd done. Marcus, Big 30 whispered, voice low, filled with a kind of hurt that didn't sound like anger anymore. Please tell me you didn't. Marcus opened his eyes finally, slow and heavy, like each second weighed down on him. His voice came out shaky. It ain't what you think. Big 30 stepped closer. Then tell me what it is. Marcus hesitated, mouth trembling. I told a dude where I was. Not who I was with. Not what we doing. I swear. Why? Big 30 asked, staring straight into him. Marcus swallowed hard. Because he said he wanted to talk. Big 30's voice dropped lower. Who? Marcus didn't answer, and the footsteps got closer. Behind the fence, Ty, Malik, Rico, and Debo tensed up instantly. Ty whispered, we gotta get in there. Somebody pulling up on them. Malik grabbed his arm. Not yet. If we run in too early, we might make it worse. But the fear was rising in all of them, like smoke in a small room. Back on the court, Big 30 finally turned his head toward the alley. 3. Figures were walking in. HOODIE as pulled low, hands in their pockets, moving slow but confident, and every instinct inside Big 30 screamed danger. Marcus felt the shift and took a step back, panicked. 30, look, I ain't think it'd go like this. Big 30 didn't look away from the men approaching. You set me up. Marcus shook his head frantically. No, not like that. I just thought they wanted to talk to you. They said they wanted to squash something. Big 30 gave him a sharp look. You don't bring outsiders into family problems. Marcus's voice cracked. I didn't know they'd come like this. The three guys finally stepped into the light of the basketball court. One of them, tall, slim, with a silver chain glinting under his hoodie, spoke first. So this how y'all do family reunions in Memphis? He said, grinning. Big 30's whole body tightened. Who sent you? The tall one shrugged. Don't matter. We just came for a conversation. Real calm, real respectful. Long overdue. Marcus looked terrified. 30, please don't. Big 30 cut him off. Don't talk. The tall guy took a step forward. We heard you've been moving crazy. Heard some folks got issues with how you treating your circle. And you know how the city works. When there's a problem, someone gotta step in. Big 30 stared him down. And who elected you? The tall guy smirked. The streets talk, big man. And right now, they saying you slipping. Ty whispered from behind the fence. Oh, hell no. This ain't a talk. This a setup. Debo clenched his fists. We need to move. Malik shook his head again. Wait, if we rush, this could turn into something else. 30 got this. Rico was sweating. But those dudes look like they ain't here to play. On the court, Big 30 stayed still, hands at his sides, but his eyes sharp as knives. So let me get this straight, he said slowly. Marcus hit y'all up. Y'all pull up on me. And you think I'm just gonna stand here and let you check me? The tall one shrugged again. We ain't checking nobody. We just here to remind you the game bigger than you. And some people think you acting too big for your own hood. Big 30 tilted his head slightly. What people? The tall man paused, then smirked wider. People close to you. Marcus's face drained of all color. Big 30 turned slowly toward him. Marcus raised his hands defensively. I didn't say nothing. I swear to God, I ain't tell them nothing about you. Big 30 took one step toward Marcus. But you opened the door. Marcus shook his head over and over, tears forming. I just wanted them to help me talk to you. I ain't want no war, bro. The tall man laughed. Wow, family really be the downfall, huh? Big 30 snapped his head toward him. Don't talk about my family. The guy shrugged again. Then get your family under control. Big 30 stepped forward until he was inches from the tall guy. If you've got a problem with me, say it to me. Don't use my cousin as a shield. That's weak. The tall guy's grin faded. Man, he said coldly, I don't need your permission to talk to whoever I want. And if your cousin feels like you ain't treating him right, he allowed to speak. Don't blame me because he's tired of living in your shadow. Marcus flinched. Big 30's jaw tightened. That what you feel? Big 30, asked Marcus, voice barely above a whisper. You're tired of living in my shadow? Marcus looked torn, devastated. But he didn't answer, and that silence was worse than any confession. Big 30 turned back to the three men. You came to make a point. You made it. Now leave. The tall man raised an eyebrow. You making demands? Big 30 stepped even closer, eyes locked. I'm telling you, leave. For the first time, uncertainty flickered across the tall man's face. Maybe he realized this wasn't someone he could intimidate. Maybe he realized stepping in further might spark something he wasn't prepared to handle. The second man, shorter with a scar across his cheek, spoke up. Ayo, let's go. This ain't what we came for. The tall man glanced at him, annoyed. But after a tense moment, he backed up slowly. Fine, he said. But this ain't over. He pointed at Marcus on his way out. And you, call when you're ready to talk again. Marcus didn't respond. The three men walked off into the alley, disappearing into the shadows they came from. The moment they were gone, Big 30 finally exhaled. The sound was heavy. Too heavy. Full of betrayal, disappointment, and exhaustion. Marcus stepped forward slowly. 30, I swear I ain't mean for it to go like this. Swear I ain't mean for it to go like this. Big 30 didn't look at him. Why'd you text them? Marcus wiped his face with his sleeve. I thought they'd help me talk to you. I thought they'd calm you down. I ain't think they'd come like that. Big 30 turned, eyes sharp. You thought bringing outsiders into our family business would help. Marcus looked broken. I didn't know what else to do. Big 30 stepped back from him. You could have talked to me, like we used to. Before all this noise. Marcus's voice cracked. You stopped listening. Big 30 stared at him for a long moment, and for the first time all night, he looked tired. Really tired. Maybe I did, he admitted quietly. But you didn't have to do this. Marcus dropped to sit on the court, head in his hands, shaking Dot. Big 30 watched him in silence, torn between anger and sadness. That's when Ty and the others finally stepped through the fence and walked toward them. Ty spoke first. Yo, you good? Big 30 didn't answer immediately. He was still staring at Marcus's cousin, his brother in everything but blood. Nah, Big 30 finally said. We ain't good. Marcus lifted his head slowly, eyes red. Please, bro, don't cut me off. Big 30 looked at him with a pain deeper than anger. I don't know what to do with you right now. A long silence followed, the kind that feels like something closing. Marcus whispered, just don't walk away from me. Big 30 looked down, took a breath. And then footsteps echoed again, not from the alley, from behind them. This time, heavier, faster, and much closer. Ty turned around first. Yo, who's that? Big 30 looked over his shoulder and his face changed, because this time, it wasn't strangers. It was someone he never expected to see walking into the court at that hour. And whatever was coming next was about to change the night all over again. The footsteps coming from behind them were different from the earlier ones. These weren't sneaky or cautious. They were heavy, purposeful, like whoever was approaching wasn't afraid of being heard. The sound echoed across the quiet court, bouncing against the cracked walls and broken hoop. Big 30 turned fully, his jaw tightening the moment he recognized the silhouette stepping into the faint glow of the streetlight. It was Uncle Ray. Marcus single quotes as father. The man who raised both of them like brothers. The man who used to break up their childhood fights with a laugh and a threat to take both their sneakers if they didn't calm down, but there was no laughter on his face. Tonight, Uncle Ray walked toward them with a sternness that made even Ty and Malik step back a little. He wore an old jacket, hands clenched at his sides, eyes burning with a mix of fear, anger, and deep, painful disappointment. So this what it came to? Uncle Ray said, his voice low but sharp. My boy's out here almost getting into something dangerous because y'all can't talk like men. Marcus's head dropped instantly, shame washing over him. Dad, I didn't mean Uncle Ray. Cut him off. I ain't talking to you yet. Marcus shut his mouth, shoulders tense. Uncle Ray looked at Big 30. And you? You standing out here like you ready for war? Big 30 sighed and rubbed his forehead. Uncle, you don't understand. I understand more than you think, Uncle Ray interrupted. You think I ain't see this coming? You think I ain't been watching both of y'all drift apart? Acting like strangers in the same family? Big 30 didn't respond. Uncle Ray stepped closer. Both of you hurting. Both of you stubborn. Both of you scared to admit you need each other. Marcus wiped his eyes. I ain't scared. Uncle Ray pointed at him with a sharpness that made Marcus freeze. Boy, you invited strangers into our family business? If that ain't fear and insecurity, I don't know what is. Marcus dropped his head again. Uncle Ray turned to Big 30. And you so busy trying to be the man of Memphis that you forgot you still got people who love you. People who need to feel like they matter to you. Big 30's eyes softened, but only slightly. I've been trying, Big 30 murmured. But the more I rise, the more people pulling at me, needing something. Wanting something? Expecting something. It gets heavy sometimes. Uncle Ray nodded slowly. I know, but you not alone. And you acting like you are is what's tearing y'all apart. For a moment, nobody spoke. The night air felt thick, heavy with words unsaid and years of tension finally cracking open. Marcus finally stood, wiping his face. Dad, it ain't that simple. Oh, it is, Uncle Ray said. You jealous? You angry? You hurt. And instead of saying it, you let other people whisper in your ear. You let them get into your head and twist things. Marcus looked away, breathing unevenly. I just felt left out. Big 30 stepped closer to him. I wasn't leaving you out. I was trying to hold everything together. But you didn't tell me nothing, Marcus snapped. You didn't talk to me about what you were dealing with. You didn't call like you used to. You didn't treat me like family anymore. Big 30 stared at him deeply. You started acting like you didn't want to be family. Those words hit Marcus hard. Uncle Ray shook his head at both of them. Y'all both wrong, and y'all both right. But none of that matters if you don't fix this now. Because if you lose each other, you lose everything. Marcus's voice cracked. I never wanted to lose him. Big 30's voice softened. Then why bring those dudes into this? Why not come to me first? Marcus covered his face with both hands. I was scared you'd push me away, like you've been doing. Big 30 walked closer until he was right in front of Marcus. I'd never push you away. But if you don't tell me what you're feeling, how I'm supposed to know? Marcus slowly lowered his hands, eyes red and tired. I messed up. Big 30 nodded. You did. Marcus breathed shakily. But I didn't mean to hurt you. Big 30 hesitated, then put a hand on Marcus's shoulder. I know. Marcus looked up at him, eyes widening a little with hope. So, we good? Big 30 didn't answer for a long moment. Instead, he looked at the cracked court around them, the shadows, the memories, the ghosts of who they used to be. Then he looked at Uncle Ray, who was watching them with the look of a man who had seen enough heartbreak for a lifetime. Finally, Big 30 said softly, We not good. But we ain't broken either. We're gonna fix it. But it's gonna take time. Akuz nodded slowly, accepting that dot until a voice suddenly echoed from the alley. Time might not be something y'all got. Everyone turned toward the voice. The tall guy from earlier stepped back into the court alone. This time, no crew, no backup, just him leaning against the gate like he belonged there. Ty cursed under his breath. Man, not this fool again. Uncle Ray squared his shoulders. Who the hell are you? The tall guy ignored him and pointed at Marcus. I told you to call me when you're ready. Guess you ain't. Marcus took a step back. What you want now? The tall guy smirked. Lax. I ain't here to start nothing. I'm here to tell y'all something you need to hear. Big 30 walked toward him slowly. You got 10 seconds. The guy raised both hands. Fine, I'm just gonna say it. Marcus ain't the only one talking behind your back. There's more people in your circle. People you trust. Telling folks you changed. Big 30 froze. Marcus stiffened. Ty, Malik, and Rico exchanged nervous looks. The tall guy continued. I ain't gonna say who. Not my place. But you better look around. Because it ain't just family that's divided. He took a step back into the shadows. Memphis got eyes everywhere. And your name ringing in rooms you ain't stepped foot in. Big 30 stared at him. What room? The tall guy smirked. The kind where they decide who stays on top. And who gets knocked down. Then he disappeared into the alley again, leaving the court in silence. Marcus whispered, You think he telling the truth? Big 30 didn't answer. Uncle Ray looked at him. Son, you've got a lot of people watching you. Too many with opinions. Too many with agendas. Ty stepped forward, bro. You know, we ain't talking behind your back. Malik nodded quickly. Yeah, we here. Always been here. But Big 30 wasn't looking at them. He was staring at the exit of the alley. Jaw-tight eyes, stormy, Marcus touched his arm gently. 30, what you thinking? Big 30 closed his eyes for a moment, letting the weight settle. I'm thinking, he said slowly, this ain't the end of anything. He opened his eyes again. This the beginning of a bigger storm. Marcus swallowed hard. You scared? Big 30 shook his head. But I'm done being blind. Uncle Ray stepped forward, placing a firm hand on his shoulder. Just don't lose yourself trying to fight shadows. Big 30 nodded, but deep down, something inside him had shifted. Something serious. Something cold. Something determined that the night had exposed betrayal, broken trust, hidden threats, and the truth that not everyone close to him wanted to see him win. And as he stood there on that old court, surrounded by people he loved, people he feared losing, and people he wasn't sure he could trust anymore, Big 30 realized his next move would change everything. Not just for him, not just for Marcus, but for all of Memphis. And the silence that followed was the kind that feels like the whole city was holding its breath, waiting to see what Big 30 would do next as the dust settles over Memphis and the echoes of Big 30's chaos slowly fade into the night. One thing is clear. Nothing will ever be the same again. The city watched a man unravel, rebuild, fall, and rise all over again, leaving everyone wondering what the future holds for the one they now whisper about as the Demon of Memphis. After everything he faced, friends who turned their backs, family left divided. Fans who didn't know who to believe, Big 30 still walks forward like a storm, refusing to die out. But the real question isn't about what he's done. It's about what he's going to do next. Is he finally ready to control the fire inside him? Or is this just the calm before another explosion? Will the alliances he rebuilt hold strong? Or will old wounds reopen the second someone pushes the wrong button again? Memphis is holding its breath, waiting, watching, and wondering whether this chapter is ending or if a bigger, darker one is about to begin. Because with Big 30, nothing stays peaceful for long, and every whisper in the streets suggests that the next twist might already be on the way. And now it's your turn to step into this story. If you've been hooked from the start, if this drama pulled you all the way in, then make sure you like this video right now. Drop a comment and tell us whose side you're on, what moment shocked you the most, and what you think Big 30's next move will be. And don't forget to subscribe, because trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Your voice matters here, and this channel is where we break it all down together.